Okay. So this is what I see happening. Like you break out locally, like if you're looking for a scalp, and there happens to be a high volume note right at 62.5, and then there's another gap up, and you can see like again, you'd go back to 64,000. Like that's the next, we keep ranging, so we would head back up there, and it is starting to kind of round low, low, flat, higher, low. Right? You can see it's trying to turn that. But again, it's got to break back above 61.8. It's got to break back above 61.5. I like to say because if it breaks above 61.5, it's then immediately hit another resistance. So it's got to break this 61,880, and then it can gap up to 64,000. That would be like the easy, not, but that would be the track for it. And honestly, I just keep seeing it. Like again, even this could go either way tonight. And I keep I'll be honest, I keep like, and I shouldn't be, but there's a little bit of FOMO on me because I'm like, oh, it's about to pump, and I missed that bigger pump. I'm like, oh, but now it looks short. I'll just take the scalp. But then I'm like, oh, it looks like it might make that big pump again. Oh, I'll take the scalp, and it just keeps kind of toying. Look at even today, it was just mainly sideways if you look at it in chop. And then look, could it flip the 200 MA and pump tonight? And I have to remember it is Thursday, lower volume, and tomorrow we have like I believe non-farm unemployment, which is going to do something to the forex and the rest of the market. So could be some reaction from Bitcoin. 21 minute broke above the 200 there, big pump after that. Now it's kind of creating a flag. So I might just like lay off the trade for tonight because it just to me, to me it's too back and forth. You know, I get this the deep feeling is to long, like but I'm like I am biased long. I mainly long, so it's natural that I'm gonna want to long more than I short. It's just natural that that's what I'm gonna want to do. So I have to remind myself of that. But then I'm also like, is it the TA though? There's certain things in the TA that hidden bullish in the daily gets me. Like that's a strong indication. However, it doesn't have to hold. Right now, it looks good. It could slip out. Right, the 4 hours a little overbought, and like some say, the 4 hour just looks like it's in a basically a bear flag. And it's also in the symmetrical triangle. Similar idea here. The key is if it breaks out, it's a nice pump, and I missed the pump, but it comes down and retests 61.8, then I can still take a scalp back up to 64,000. It won't be the end of the world, you know, and it will reveal itself. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to continue to dump. And if that way I could wait, the 4 hour would close the candle below the 200 first, usually. And then I could get on the train. So to me, I don't have to trade this right now. I feel like it's too close to the bone for me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, right? And I really say that. I feel like I really say that. I'm always like, I'm gonna take a trade. Um, For the last 2 weeks, I've been trading less. I've been noticing when the market's just like when it's gonna spend more time making me think too hard about it and waiting for when the market gives me a cleaner signal that just makes it easier. Not I don't want to say easy because I don't, but less difficult. Like it just seems some trades you can just walk right into. I can't explain it. Other trades you have to kind of they're just their entries aren't as simple. They either take some more time or you have to think about it, or what you want, but it's not there yet and you have to wait. You know, I mean, we basically been ranging. You can look at the 1 minute chart and see that it's, you could say, okay, well, there it is though, right? See, like this stuff will make me want to trade it. Like the traditional, like you're flagging, you got the golden cross, you're low in the stochastics. Stochastic has like, looks like the MACD wants to turn. RSI, is headed lower for possible move back up. Possible scalp there. I always remind myself on Thursday night, like it's more likely this makes an M and dwindles. You know what I mean? than on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where you're more likely to get a follow through just because of the way the volume is set up. But that would be like your next possibly bullish scenario, right? This little flag on the one would break out. Golden cross looks nice, and again, if you traded just a break above the 200, but that this is when the strategy is a little lacking because when the candle's that big, you kind of almost have to front run that little flag, and that's not healthy. And when the candle is that big, it's like kind of you'd like it to be half that size close, and then this one you almost have to run it as it's like you almost FOMO in before it closes. I've done that before a couple times, and I have won the trade, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. So. So yeah, so we keep hitting 61,000, toying with it, coming back. So, this looks like we may get the pump. I mean, look at the stochastics. And take it from me too. Some nights, like maybe you just need like more sleep, or maybe you need some food, or maybe, your mind's not going to be 1,000, like 100% every single day, especially when it comes to charting. You may not see something obvious because you're just tired. I'm pretty sure I see what I need to see, but there are times when you need to step away, rest the mind, take a breath, and say, okay, maybe I should take a step. Maybe I don't have to trade tonight. Maybe I don't need to force a trade. When you get into this, like, oh, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. You Again, it's good to have some of that in crypto trading. I play the devil's advocate a little bit because you never know when the pump could come, and you do want to capitalize. So it's a game of cat and mouse there, but that's why sometimes you have to be like, you know what? Define your key levels. Be like, if it pumps, this is likely where it could go. Am I okay with missing that? And if you're okay with that move, you're like, all right, I'm fine with that. That's fine with me. That doesn't bother me. And you know what? If it gets above this next key level, I can always take the next trade. I wouldn't take this trade on a Thursday night. I'd be very, very weary of it. But on another day, if things were a little different, I may, trade this flag without even thinking about it. When Thursday night comes, Friday night comes, it just things start to they dry out. There's less people out there. You're one of the only people out there comparatively so the order book is slimmer. And so it's just the odds of it, things aren't playing out. You know, the one last thing that I'll confuse you with is then you can always still extrapolate the actual flag. Like if in your life you played 100 of these, you're supposed to hit 60 of them anyway, or 68. So the idea is like no matter what the situation, volume or low, like you could play it relentlessly. I've done that. Like I do end up profitable, but like there's a lot of tit for tat. Like I go in, I lose 2 trades, win 5 trades, lose a trade, win 4 trades. But over time you chew away at the P&L. So it's like because this flag is technically by the book, right? No matter what day it is, what time of the week it is, the math says this should break out 68% of the time, right? And then if you play your support and resistance, you're like, well, I know I'm gonna have resistance at the top of the where it began at 61.2. And then we know weekly support and resistance 61.5. Could we get back above 61.5? And then you look at bookmap and you're like, wow, it has like this like thin order book really up to 62K. And then it has everyone still all the way down here. Makes you wonder, like, does it pump to 62 and then get flushed to the downside? So I'm technically not in a trade anymore. Right. I got stopped out of the stop law of the sort. I should have at one point it was down like $9 right before this the weekly screen share. And look at that thing just kind of, curving on the Stokes, doing what it's supposed to do. At this point, you feel like it must revisit that. It's very likely it revisits the previous high. Then if it breaks through that, it can really do damage. It's above the 200 MA on the 5 minute and the 7. And so look at it too, just getting above the 200 MA on the 15 minute, which is a bullish sign. Like, do I long that? That's why I like to do my work on the actual perpetual. That way I don't have to mix what I'm seeing or we go from here, right? Oh, look at that nice move. Candle close in 11 minutes. Usually has a little issue at the smooth, but maybe not too much. And really, you just want to see that it stays above the 200 MA so that you don't really, the stop doesn't have to be too close. And also, too, like, I never know when I'm going to trade now. I give myself the information. I mean, I have an idea. I'm like, but I don't wake up, I'm going to get into a trade right now. Or say, like, I just say, I'm going to look at like, my mind already has answered the question, but it's like, I'm going to look at the charts and see what they push and compel me to do. Like, I'm going to find probability. And if I see probability, I'll take it. If not, I'm not going to. Nice move. Let's go. If we go back to the 1 hour, the 1 minute there. So came to the double top. And now you want to see it break through that resistance. When the Stokes kind of curve like that, could be a good time to take some profit. All depends on the person. Are they in a swing trade? Are they in a hard leverage trade? You know, you never, are they in too deep? It depends. It's like a lot of people don't see the signal. They're like, oh, came up, came down, got the double pump, flipped the 200 MA, still bullish. Really, you see that? Now you know there'll be some type of resistance here because of the previous resistance. That's what's happening right now. Simple stuff. Should expect at least a red candle or two. And if it gets above it, then it can flatten out, make a flag, or might even just pump through it. But you can see it's at least going to have a little bit of up and down price action before it gets through. I'm overly more bullish on Bitcoin than bearish. I want to make that clear. Even when you catch me like looking at the charts, I'm like, I just want more healthy. I want the bulls to show us more health. Really, that's how I should look at it. You know, and it's still good. There was good volatility for a Thursday. It was extra at more than normal. It was almost like a false move Monday today, like twice over. It was pretty. It caught the Monday. It was a pretty weird move for a Monday. You know, I mean a Tuesday. I mean for a Thursday, it felt like a Monday. Was I'm trying to say for a Thursday, it was pretty strange. Golden cross, even the 80 and the 100 cross and the 200. But there's that resistance there, right at 61,200. So I got to think of like what's my game plan here. Well, I'm gonna get off the smaller time frames for now. I'm gonna look at that as a bullish engulfing candle on the 1 minute, on the 1 hour. Sorry, it's breaking out as we speak too. It's definitely a breakout. And there's a bit of a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder here that could also break out. And you got the low, low, even higher low. It's almost like you're working your way. And then the tight moving averages, we pump up to the 200. There's a gap in the VRVP. So like this story says bottom, right? One, two, we double bottomed, rip through there, and then we go through the next gap there, back to 66. So it does look bullish to me. So why not open up a long? All right. Well, whenever in the wrong side of the trade, sometimes it's good to give the chart, I don't know, 10, 12 hour time to breathe, I find, because you don't want to be still encapsulated from maybe even remnants of emotions from that last trade. So you just want to be like clear. The sad thing about that is too, if you can't flip, you can miss the opportunity, which is, but You got to decide whether it's worth it or not. So bullish sign that the 15-minute is getting pushed above the 200 MA. Interesting. See the 1 hour starting to make pretty bullish pattern. One minute there. And also see its resistance, right? At 61, 180. So I'm just looking at this like intently here. And you're getting the 15-minute above the 200 MA, which is a bullish sign. 1 minute wants to cruise. This could be the possible move to the upside. So I'm leaning a little more bullish than bearish, you know. But if we lose the 4 hour, obviously the 200 man, the 4 hour, I flip bear. So, so I guess like I have to flip to I have to flip to a bullish bias, based on some, there's even like a bullish divvy here technically. Like it all slopes down, but this slopes up, and it's on a bigger time frame too. You're finally getting a higher low bounce, and like they tried to close a candle below the 200 all day long. It just didn't happen. So I guess if you can't beat them, join them. Strange widening wedge too. Doesn't like match up as well. Hmm. 220s, it fell out, came back in, fell out. Now it's breaking out. So here's the deal. If we get above 61.8, and then I see a flag like that on the 1 minute, I'll take it. But until then, I want the bulls to show me it can break above that key level. And I don't, super high risk tonight to take this trade here. A good chance it could play out. I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst trade in the world, but I'd like to be a little more selective about where I deploy my capital. You can do you. I'm just, I can be vocal about that. So yeah, I'd watch this flag on the one. Obviously, I'd watch it move up to a 61.9 if we do a breakout. They got like a little bit of liquidity up there too, so it suggests okay, just then, but it's like it's scant. But they got something up at 61 right there, right up that area. So, and just to show you the long position there. This one's like a little bit above that last notch of a price action, but there's good support like right there, one, two, three, and there's a good support right there. So I like that. It's a 3.14. All right. So if I was going to scalp along, this is how I would do it tonight. Something like that. See where it goes. It's getting tight. It looks nice, but it's also kind of a double top at resistance. Remember, that's why I'd rather wait for it to break above 61.8. There's some liquidity there. It's showing signs of life. Okay. Yeah, and I have my whole family's coming tomorrow. So and we didn't tell my daughter where hear me. So um to the live stream. Yeah. I don't coming to the live stream. Whole family's coming to the live stream, right? Yeah. Yeah. And Bookmap says we don't, right? But you never know. It's not, I always say it's not 100%. But how many times have we seen it? And then, like, after even all the shenanigan, and then eventually, boom, and we're like, oh, there it was, right? So Bookmap suggests we go down. That's why I believe waiting for 61.8 is a better bet because we're kind of in the doldrums right now. They could still take it either way. So be careful how you trade tonight. I'm going to take the night off from trading. And maybe I'll trade tomorrow morning. We'll see. It will be Friday, but we'll see. Right. And if the flag pumps, it pumps. You have to be okay with missing out too. Like you have to be like, all right. Some nights that's actually a power too, because there was the time where I almost even recently where I was like, I had to open up a trade every single night, no matter what. Just even if it was a little scalp, like, oh, I'll just make it small. And just like a few weeks ago, I was like, I'll take a look. And I found, I mean, it's only like two or three. I looked at my P&L and I was like, there's only like three or four. I'll still have trades today, so it won't be a 0 day. It was actually only 2 days, I think, last month that like it said zero on the P&L, on the month, like that I didn't open up or close a trade. Just said zero, right? It's very rare. I feel myself a little overtired. I feel myself chasing a little bit. I feel myself kind of, and when you get like that, that's when you should tell yourself, good night's sleep, reset, don't chase. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's important. The market's a lot more about yourself than it is about the market. I don't know how many times I know I'm speaking for myself. How many times the market wasn't really that good today? It didn't look it looks like a lot of people got wrecked, but it was like a great trading day for you. Happens to me. But then there's other days where like it wasn't that worse, wasn't that bad, but it was a bad trading day for you. And it's like it must be us a little more than the market. There are days where it's us and the market. Like they both just go together so well. Like, there's the entendre. Like it all happens, the triple entendre. Everything happens together. And that's what you go for. Like those days, and that's why you're super grateful on those days because it just seems like I remember days are just effort. Like you remember yesterday, I went like 6 for 6 in the live stream, like made 530 in an hour and a half. Like that's great. Like if you repeat that process, you do pretty well for yourself over time, right? And it's not, I'm not saying I'm a big shot, but I'll take $500 in 90 minutes of work. So and know that you grinded for it too, and like learn skills and put it all together and made it happen, and then also had the guts to trust yourself. That's why like trading is so it has so many components to it. It has the components of technical analysis, the components of learning yourself, and then the components of putting those together, which is another component. It's almost like there's more going on than you realize when you go to learn how to do it. When you're done and you finally feel like you've got your footing, there's such a feeling of accomplishment because you finally realize, wow, how long and how many things you had to really put together. And this is starting to look more and more promising for sure that it's going to break out. Like to take next thing you know, you'll see I'll be in the long, right? It's taking all my might not to open up a trade right now. You see what I mean? Very hard. So does the market control me or do I have control over myself? You know? And then sometimes it's like, well, I trade my signal if I see a signal, but I think there's a time too when it's you should like let the mind rest. I keep listening to Jim Rohn too. I think that's why I've been resting more because he keeps saying how important rest is for success. You know, like you can't go to the gym 7 days a week and rip a muscle. Like eventually you need to rest the muscle, right? So resting is a key component of gaining. You can't gain without rest, proper rest, right? Um, and that you remind yourself of that when you're over trading, when you feel like you're in like the mix of it, when it just feels like you can't stop. Remind yourself of that. Like a muscle that couldn't stop would eventually deteriorate. Like you just kept not giving it rest, you'd hurt it. It wouldn't be able to perform at its peak. And we're this, I like the whole muscle metaphor because it's so easy to see and it makes so much sense, you know. So and remember, they still got that ball of liquidity down there. So if we lose the 200 MA on the 4 hour, I am shorting. So I think I got a pretty good game plan. Like if we get above 61.8, I see a flag, it shows strength, then I'll begin to long, or be more apt into long. And if we lose the 200 MA on the 4 hour time frame, we short the market. We got to close above it, not just go below it. You want to see a 4 hour candle close below it. Usually the bots kick in there and we start to dump, especially if you can see the stochastic starting to edge up a little bit. So that's the deal. You break above 61,850 here, which is the big resistance, and we can trade that, 62,000 up to 64. Get that gap up. Then maybe trade 64 back up to 60, 66, right? And then if we can get those two moves in the next, let's say 5 to 7 days, like that would be great for our portfolios. And if it loses this and dumps, that would be good too. But right now, I feel like we're just in too much uncertainty chop, and they just keep bringing the price up and down around similar areas. And it's just on a Thursday night, it's very apt for more people in the group to get chopped up and swept up. And again, I could be wrong. You may think I'm being overcautious. I don't know. But that's what the market is relaying to me. Hey, I'm in chop. What I do see though, hey, 4 hour didn't lose 200. The daily has that hidden bullish divergence. You know, I still, I bought a little more Bitcoin. Good time to buy a little more Bitcoin for sure, or to DCA into a project that you believe in. But besides that, you know, on leverage long, I'm just waiting on, it's high risk to enter the leverage long right now. Does look pretty sweet. Shoulder, head, right shoulder above the 200 main. You can just put a stop loss on the other side of the 200 and just see if it flies. So like $50 would equal $300. You see, it's a 6-to-1 risk score ratio. If it never loses the 200, it could easily wick it like it did both those times. See, for anyone who tried the gain. Um, so that's why I'd like to see it break above 61.8 first before I open up long. And that's kind of where I stand for Bitcoin. I think it makes pretty good sense, right? Hot altcoins. Popcat continues to look good. It's in a tight channel. Axelar, one of my favorites. We'll take a look at that. Navi, right, which we know is the Sui on the Sui chain, right? So, and you got Navi. What was our? I put out a bunch of Sui memes, or the kind of there was like 5 or 6 Sui ones that were really the main ones, but you had Navi, like what a deck screener. But Navi is the one that stood out. Sui Bull is one that kind of comes to mind. Hippo, people, Sudang, Hippo, people, Blob was the bigger one. Again, look though, it's down 25% in the last 24 hours. Sui, man. And be careful, this is meme stuff. The only one I really like was Sui Bull. It just made sense. Like it could run just, are you a Sui Bull? I'm a Sui Bull. Sui Bull, you know. See, it's addicting there. I think it's this one, Sue Bull. Tiny market cap. If it 10x is to 2.5 mil, right? Again, liquidity is nil. And be careful. I don't see this might not be it. All right. I'm not the best at like I'm not like a meme expert, so be careful. I don't know if that one's it. And it's a moonshot too. You have to realize that. Like it's these some of them are S Bull, Suey Bull. Then this one though, market cap 398. Oh, that Suey Bull though on like, huh. Yeah, so it would be this one, market cap of 250,000. Very small market cap, 10x. Anyway, Love is like the bigger guy, $36 million market cap. Gave most of it back, but look, that flag, we went over the fact that that flag could pump and it pumps. Meme land though. So Sui meme coins likely pull back with Sui, right? As Sui finds its way. And then, and we'll talk about that too. Like selling Sui, is that a good look? So selling Sui, all right. Why did I sell Sui? I thought it was a long-term hold, Sam. I thought you were gonna. Well, let's go over it. It ran into a key level of liquidity where you had two tops already previously. Doesn't mean this is a top on the market, but it looks like it's a local top. When someone says a local top, what are they saying? They're saying, for the next, maybe on that daily chart and for the next 2 or 3 weeks, that was the top. Or sometimes if you're just trading hot, like on the 1 minute, it might be the top for the 4 or 5 hours. We might come back and revisit it. A local top is when you're referring to just a top on a smaller time frame, So you're not saying this is like the end all of this asset. You're just saying it's going to pull back likely and take some time to get back to that key level, right? So when you look at this, I mean, if you even made it somewhat downtrending, but you still gave it it's looking like it could go. And remember, these are 3 day candles, but it looks like it could come back down to 141. That's when I would start looking to get in and see if it can come test 113. Like these are the two areas I'd be liking to get into, and I'd like to see the Stokes get low again, right? And then it would be a giant cup and handle for its next big mission. And it would take you three, see, something like that. And you got resistance here. So, I felt the need to sell, and again, there's a chance it goes sideways, consolidates beautifully, and then I have to ape in at the same price as possible. The daily's looking like it may reset pretty nicely. But that 3 day chart keeps telling me if I trust it that it's going to pull back at least to 137, 144, and we go from there. Whenever you get really far away from the 21 on a very large time frame, the odds just get higher and higher in your favor that selling is going to be a good look. Doesn't mean every time. All right. Like, and then I go clear out my whole portfolio and sell everything in a swing high? No. Right. But Sui was a newer add on in this market of uncertainty. I saw basically close to a double up and I took it. You know, that's all. That's all that means. More capital for me, more gains for me. It was almost 4 grand in 2 weeks. So hey, that money was working for me, and basically the 5 grand almost doubled up. So there you have it, right? I think that's self-explanatory. And then I truly believe in long term, and you know, if I feel the need at any time, I can convert to Tether and buy more SUI too. You know, I'd actually like to have it. I think, I'm looking at it, I'm like, might take a chunk out of like another coin that I have and buy some SUI. So I'm thinking of moving some funds around into SUI and making them. now I'm like, okay, if I can get 50 grand worth of SUI and then it can 10x. Because I think there's a 10x to $16 possibly coming. I think that's realistic to me. It seems like it could happen. So if I can get it lower and then 10x it, that's all I'm asking. That'd be pretty sweet. So, yeah. When someone says first Russian attacks Ukraine, then Hamas attacks Israel. Now sellers are attacking my portfolio. All right. So even if we do get someone to pull back here and Bitcoin somewhat struggles, uh, I'm not that stressed if we even went to 58,000. You know, still looks somewhat healthy of a market to me. So we have to start taking out some serious higher lows on on bigger time frames. And make turn those into higher, basically turn the lows into higher lows and break them. See, that has an Adam and Eve double top to it. Adam and Eve double top. Okay, and we'll go over portfolio changes. So today's P&L was all because I sold Sui. And that's why this is up almost 5 grand. And then a couple of other coins went up. So, and that's realized because I sold the Sui. So, maybe like 800 of it is unrealized or something, but I sold most of the Sui. So, um, yeah, um, a happy days, right? Now, I did get into TIA, and that is down, right? What, 3,400 bucks? So that's almost break even there. But TIA is a long-term investment. I already had bought in some and so I was just kind of like adding to a larger bag, and I believe on holding it and staking it. I am looking at the bigger market. If Bitcoin were to take a bigger dump and this goes below 9, I'd maybe want to sell that, wait for, maybe flip it to something else, maybe take the loss. And see, what I like is that would just be a 5K loss on the end of my year. And, if hopefully we have a big October, November, all that's going to do is just come off like, another coin that I might sell for 10 or 20 grand as a win. So I don't really stress those as long as I know I'm going to be in the market long time. And, again, it's not the best. Like, I don't like that was looking a little more promising. And then I didn't pay as much attention to it because there was, I was more into trading Bitcoin than watching TIA price perfect, and then we had the pullback and then I was making money on the short. So, and because it was a long-term investment, it wasn't something I was staring at. So that, but that is like normally, you could call it an L or whatever you want to say, or something, it could be something someone wants to talk ish on me or something, but that, but that's a long-term investment. It does make you good money APY, but they do have an unlock coming. Someone explained to me too, but it has many unlocks coming, and they do come as rewards, and you'll see over time. So I still got Tether right and 8 grand there for a bigger pullback. If I want to add to anything here, I can. Uh, I added to Arkham AI Tech again. I added to these bags, made them beefier since probably in the last 3 weeks. All right. I threw 7 grand on PopCat. We'll see what happens. It was just last night. It's right now at break even. If it slips anywhere out down like 300, 400, I'll probably just cancel the trade. But we'll see where it goes. It's just a swing trade. If I can make a couple grand off it, I'll be happy. Nothing, I'm not trying to hold PopCat long term. Although it could be a good look. So there's a $7,000 position there in PopCat. That's new. Still holding my gains for a living. Still got my Tau, still got my Wilder, BMX, got a little more Casper in on all the dips we had. Still got my Whiff, Jasmy, Ether, which is, decentralized, basically, it's deep in for video gaming and basically building, you know, and being able to render product, render and having computer, decentralized computation power, unlimited too. through a network is really the plan. Railio, still got my Railio, still got my SEI, Gala, Tara, AP1, API3, Layer AI, Python Network, TokenFi, Maria, Leaf, right? Prop Space, Rune, Orange Coin for the BRC20 token, Palm AI for AI. Hello might be an X off, just kind of might be one that we just have to, I had to let sail. Joy Stream, same there too. We'll see what happens. They both got pounded pretty bad, but it's all right. You win some, you lose some. Zeta Chain still believe in over time. Mantra, Illuvium, and R Trade still hold some of that R Trade. So that's like, that's kind of like some of my DGen portfolio. And then I do have Brett. I do have some other altcoins as well. Looking to possibly get into some, I got Nacho, which is a Caspa meme. And then I hold, the 100K Solana, 100K in Chainlink. So, bigger positions there. And then 100K in basically Ajax and FET together, which I still have to move that Ajax to FET, the Ajax to FET, and then 100K in Caspa too. So like I'm still pretty stacked. I'm heavy in the game, as you can clearly see. I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not BSing you. Like this is a real portfolio. It's not fake money. Mexi does not give me money. I may make commissions, but I don't get handed. This isn't like, oh, we'll give you fake money. This is my real money. If I lose it, I really lose it you know. Um, and when you trade spot, like there's no such thing as a futures bonus. There's no spot bonus. They do give you futures bonus, but they don't give you a spot bonus, you know. But there so that's kind of like, pretty kind of okay week, just adding to some bags, seeing where we're at. And yeah, would have, and again, when I do something like that, if I add that, I'll have another 14 grand. If this thing goes down to like 3 and I really like it long term, I'll pad that same buy again. And then when we get back to 8 or 9, I'd be at break even or maybe higher and finally into profit. And if I want to cut it off, I can. So I'm good at padding positions, adding to positions when I want to, using the TA to just to kind of fit myself in where I'd like to, whether it's long for, the longer term is kind of, it's similar to doing short term stuff. You're just doing it in a like very drawn out manner. I find it so interesting how they're the same, but they're not the same, but they are, you know, whether you trade the weekly or the 1 minute. And trading Sui was selling Sui was really hard today. My mind kept telling me not to. No, but there's gonna be more, but the bull run, it's never gonna end. And it's really hard to sell things when they're, but in my humble opinion, over time, fine. Maybe 5 of the 10 assets or 20 assets we sell will pump to the moon. And you go to, But if you develop a habit of taking gains, you're going to be able to be a trader for the rest of your life. If you're a guy that just rides everything you're in and, like, let's just see where it goes every time, then like, I don't know where you're going to be. I don't know. I think you may make some huge gains in some rallies and you may lose all that gains or maybe lose like, a bigger nut on the rally after that one, years down the line. Like, so I'd much rather see a student learn how to sell than always holding everything. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, I have a whole, I have a huge hodl portfolio, right? But the key is I'm always selling something. And I've taught myself this now too. I really have. I should be in the process of taking profit somewhere, somehow, every couple of weeks, or whenever there's a bigger opportunity around, and uh, I was going to sell 180 in front of everyone. I just got cold feet with putting on the VPN during the stream. I thought I would lose the stream. So like, and again, I would have sold for 1,000, maybe a little more too. But again, the stream's that important to me at one point. I didn't want to like, and someone was like, and then finally people would egg me on. They were like, do it, get it, take the sell. And I was like, all right, you know what? Like they're going to be cool with the consequences. I'm going to do it. Right. And I don't know. I guess the business line, I guess, is a firmer connection through a static IP or so. I don't know how it works, but whenever I did it on a consumer Xfinity line, I would easily get kicked off. There's no way I could switch my VPN. I couldn't switch my VPN, okay, or even turn on a VPN while I was live. I would get kicked off immediately. So I hit it. But this one somehow does it. Like it reconnects and connects and somehow keeps the stream going. I don't know how it works, but it did it today magically. Like it was pretty cool. So yeah, so that's kind of like, um You guys have a kind of picture of where I'm at today. Like it seems bearish too. Like I'm I was bearish all day and like convinced it was bearish. And then they're just flirting with price action enough to make me kind of, and I see a little inkling of that hidden bullish on the daily. And, you know, there's like a piece that I'm like, eh. At the end of the day, I still have to remain a little more bearish. Like if I had to finally put it on, I guess. But I'm about 55-45. Like it's pretty close. I can't truly lean one way or the other fully. If I could, I'd open a trade in front of you right now. You know what I mean? You would have seen me do it. I'd be free of my mind. But for whatever reason, right now I'm a little. Also, a lifer came over my house last night. We talked till 1 in the morning, which I never get to do. No one ever comes over my house, so it's like I really took advantage of that. And when I hang out with someone that's in the trading group that I've been mentoring for a long time, and they're telling me their life story, and we're having deep connections, like to me, that's when I stop for a moment and I really listen. Because those are like really important to the group and to me. And we definitely went a little too late because it was passionate. It meant something to me, and we didn't even really we lost track of time. And so I didn't really get much sleep last night. So I also that's whatever, no excuses. But I know I was a little past my beddy time. When you're an analyst and you do what I do for a living, like you do, I go to I'm usually in bed by 12:30 and I wake up by 7. That's like my pattern. But sometimes you guys see me up all night or you think I'm up all night. It's usually because I pass out at like 8 or 9 and I take like a 3 hour nap. And then I wake up at 12. And then I'll work till 3 and go back to bed. Some people say it was called like the farmers used to do this. Like you're supposed to go to sleep. I don't know. There was some people say that's how you're supposed to sleep in general. I don't know. I like my long sleeps, but anyway. But sometimes I do that. It's just how it happens. And I found myself, or and I'll just look at the trade. I think I'm just going to do an update for the group, and then I just start seeing, uh, like I just start seeing. You're funny. It's a great night as I'm falling asleep in my chair. I know, right? Long day today, right? I mean, yeah, we both. Well, I bet you're exhausted. You worked all day, but yeah, your opinion when you're bearish, you're saying that the descending triangle breaks down less than the symmetrical triangle. I heard you say 50% for the descending, but more than that. I honestly, I see the descending triangle breakdown more than anything. Like it's 90% of breakdown. So when I saw it today and I was like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's gonna break down. Like I thought for sure, like I was gonna be right. Like, and I thought for sure later on we'd post the short. And then when I saw the short starting to print, and then the wick came, I was like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna just like I normally do, I'm gonna post the gain. And but they didn't. They like flip flopped it around and it went the other way and then it came back up. And then I'm like, so what are you doing? And that's when I'm just kind of sitting here watching this chop easy. Can even extend it like this one day and just say, all right, is it one of these? But to me, it looked cleaner here. Be true to the trend by connecting it as much as you can when you see it on trend. And then I still see kind of like a shoulder head and right shoulder. And there's still a chance it possibly breaks out. But yeah, then we're back to the symmetrical. Symmetrical is 50-50. Descending is like I give it a like 95 that you're gonna dump. And the symmetrical mainly dumps more than it pumps, in my humble opinion, too, as well. And max pain would be the dump, right? Like people wouldn't want to see that. That would be what people don't want to experience. So you pump up to 63 or you dump down to 58, right? That's what I see. That's a 50-50 shot on the night. Really, it's that simple. Like I should have just left it at that, like and acted like I knew it all, right? It's been quiet. Like, yo, that's it. Because technically, I mean, sometimes that's the patterns telling me it's 50-50. And that's why if you come up here, do the retest, I think there's a better opportunity there above 61.8, right? Or open a long and a short. right? And see what happens, right? And so I leave Bitcoin there tonight and I'll pick it up in the morning. Good. And then there's that bullish, this overall like long downtrend, but uptrend here too, which is a bullish div, which tells you that's a bottom and you should reverse. And then you have the hidden bullish in the dailies, right? So like it keeps, and then I committed to the overall idea earlier today of that 4 hour the daily and yesterday. And both times it kind of like, spat in my face. And so I was like, okay, you don't want to do that. You want to short? Okay, I'll short with you. And then it shorted and then came back up. And so I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, so you do want to do the daily idea that I thought you wanted to do originally. So that's where I'm at. I'm in this like, are you going to take that daily hidden bullish? Or are you going to play games? You get above 61.8, the smaller time frames start agreeing more with that daily hidden bullish. You see? And then I have a little more trend behind me. And I don't need to force anything. Remember, we can trade 1 minute. So once if we get a flip tomorrow and things start to go well, we can be up in here and we can be nailing the 1 minute on some flags because then we know we're in. He said, how do you feel about ADA? I have really no feelings on it. I've had Cardano since it was 2 cents, right? So I'm up a 15x. I've been holding it forever. And, I believe in Charles and what he does. I believe in crypto. There's a lot of controversy in ADA right now. There's a lot of ups and downs. What does it do? When is it going to do it? Right? All that's like, uh, so for me, I just don't even like care anymore. I just wanted to get back to $3 and I want to get the heck out of it. I have to be honest. Like that's how I feel about Cardano. You know, bull run come, transfer that thing off the hard wallet, hit that sell button after years of holding it, a 7 year hold, and then call it a day. You know what I mean? Like get rid of that thing, and that's how I feel. Um, I will never hold anything till next cycle. No, the only thing I would hold till next cycle is Bitcoin. Maybe a little Casper, but unlikely. I'm going to sell everything this run except for Bitcoin. If I want to hold something, I'll sell some of it into Bitcoin, hold the Bitcoin, and then buy that back with the Bitcoin later on. Like it's just, I think things get way too overvalued. Yeah, even Ethereum. Remember Ethereum, and I say this, I don't think people realize this, and I say it sometimes, and I don't mean to be rude. But at the end of the day, like, why is BlackRock? Why are all these people taking out put loans and options calls and taking out debt against their own companies to buy more? You know, Bitcoin. They're not doing that. Ethereum. But not look max supply for Ethereum. The maximum of the coins will ever exist in the lifetime is the analogous to the fully debt. This nor was a very so this is infinite. There is no max supply to Ethereum. It can just keep getting created into eternity. Like, yeah, they say it's scarce because they'll use it faster than you'll get minted, but like, who's to say that's true? And what if another blockchain's faster and quicker, and then you mint more than you're using it, and it gets to be, I don't know. That scares me right there. And I got into Ethereum. I knew about it was $9. I got into it, and I remember buying it for the first time ever at 89. I still hold some Ethereum. I bought it at $89. I don't know what that X is, but it's amazing. It's a nice X. 890 is a 10, and then you get about like almost two and a half in there. So fine, it's still only a 25x after 7 years. I mean, it's all right compared to crypto. It's again the high of the market. Fine, but again, I always say this, so that's why I stack more BTC. And I don't know some Ethereum maxis get pissed at me, I guess sometimes. But I just try to put my focus. The whole same is thank you for sharing your most precious asset, and that is your time. We only have so much money to allocate. Even if you were a billionaire, like every one of us has a limit to allocation at one point. Like, how much do I want to put in the market and time that I want to dedicate? And I just feel like there's just so many better opportunities than Ethereum to add to data. That's why I don't spend a lot of time on it. You know, I know Bitcoin's not going to do the 10 or 20x or 30x maybe that we want not just now. It might take way longer, but it's a great store of value that I can depend on. You know what I mean? And that's the key to me. I have not migrated the FET or AJAX. No, not yet. I haven't done any of that. I will do it. We have like a year. Don't worry. I'll do it probably in the next. I should say I'll probably do it in under 4 weeks. But then once I do it, I'll make a video about it and I'll show you what to do. But you have time. Don't worry. Just make sure you don't lose your private keys. Make sure you can access your coins and you'll be fine. All right. So token metrics kind of gave us the resurgence. It reiterated the fact that PopCat was hot again. It showed us some coins that were, back in the game. And let's just take a look here again, the token metrics. I was gonna say I'm go for an hour, and then I go for like 4 or 5 hours. Well, I'm with you guys, and once I say I'm gonna go long, like make a short, I'm like with the people that I care about, that want to be here, that want to learn. And I'm like, I just kind of realize like, well, this is what I'm here for. Like, I'm not here to cut corners on my life. I'm here to do it to get it in, right, all the way. So, so what I've been having to doing is hit this connect the account button here. Then connecting again for whatever reason, but then it should flip in there. There we go. Because you have the NFT, because it reads your MetaMask wallet to sign you into token metrics. The NFT was gifted to me by someone in the trading group. Can you believe that? They gave me free access, basically lifetime access to token metrics. They felt that it was worth giving to me. So it's funny, they're bullish on all the memes. Land Wolf has been hot. We put it in that flag earlier today. Nero's that, non-playable coin keeps coming up. Ribbit, right? Blub is that's SEI as a Sui meme. Kiko Cat, Giga Chad, SPX 69, FWOG. That's another one people talk about. So it's all memes all the time. Kind of crazy, right? Yeah, I never do something halfway, right? Like, what's the point of that? That's how my dad used to say that to me. He was like, either do it or all the way, or don't do it. My mom was the same way. If they're one thing, they didn't always agree on everything, but if one thing they could both agree on is if you're gonna do it all the way and don't whine about it. You know what I mean? And get it done and show the results and stop your whining. It's like that's what my parents could both agree on. You're the reason, no excuses. My dad was like, I messed up. I didn't do well in school. I eventually got a job. I tried to become an iron worker and I failed. They couldn't get me in the union. And finally, my third try, I got in. They wanted me to become a carpenter. I couldn't be a carpenter. I couldn't stand it. That's what he said, his word, not to be rude to carpenters out here. It just wasn't for me. He's like, and I got on the iron and I just felt like that was my crew. Like, we're on the shaft elevator. Everyone's looking at us like these are the iron workers. He felt like some type of respect as he went up and like, it was a super risky job up there, right? And doing that. And that's kind of where he found his chi, right? Some one day he said, I had to drive away from the family and I was having a nervous breakdown, kind of like, why am I so far away? 7 days away from my babe, you were twins at home with your quiet mom. But then I saw the Rockies and I was working and I was sending money home. I realized how grateful I was, you know. And he always told me stories like that about how he's looking over the landscape or how the mountains looked and how it gave him a look or he made him think about something for a moment. So probably a lot of my like monologues are that, come from listening to my dad, the way he used to talk and share his world. Yeah, they got it all, man. They seem not to miss one. D-mail a new one. Gmail network, probably kind of like Gmail, but decentralized mail. Tucker's still on the radar. Been hit pretty bad too. So if you ever like Tucker, you think it's funny. They do a really good job on their channel, and their videos are hilarious. And so they work harder than they have like an actual viewable product. They're little episodes. So I don't know. Again, they're cryptic. Their characters aren't amazing, but and so what is this list like? What does this mean? Well, it means like in the next 2, 3 weeks, like if the market did pick up or if Bitcoin goes somewhat sideways, and even we struggle a little bit, the most likely coins to bounce faster, bounce back, or to get some love are these coins. And then what I do is I look at these coins and then we go to, you know, sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't have this up on the right screen the whole time. So, I'm tired, right? Slipping. He's slipping. But like I posted them all to the trading group. So you have them in the token metric section. Remember, we have a token metric section in the trading group that we're posting to. And these are just things that they've looked at. An investor, these are more long-term ideas, right? They like Serenity Shield. Funny, we bought some of that a long time ago. Blink Galaxy, Streamer, Covalent X token. Funny, I know what Covalent is, but what is that? It's new. I like Boba, tend to be a hot coin, tends to pump Boba and Bobo. Symbiosis. Lambda. Lambda's hot. Lambda's hot. RWA. I believe real estate, if I'm correct. Lambda. AirDAO, Power Ledger. Fine. Power Ledger's still there. That's an old coin from back in the day that I used to trade. Eternity, Chi. Another coin I used to have. Mint Layer was hot. Remember how hot Mint Layer was? It pumped so hard. And what I like about going through lists like this too is sometimes it just reminds you, oh yeah, I haven't gone through that coin before. I haven't looked at that. Let me take a look at that. So Asia's gonna wake up right now and see that we dump Sui on their face, and they're gonna get pissed. And I think they're gonna start to dump Sui too. You know, they're gonna be like, what the? Why do they? You know? And then they're gonna see the unlock and be like, oh man. And then it's gonna be dump it, right? Bogdanov. You're looking for Mint Layer to come out of that shell. What I like about it is it got above the 200 on its daily time frame. See, like not everything's really bearish. This thing looks interesting. And then you got your measured move. And so we got ourselves a fish here. This is likely to happen. It may dip a little bit. If Bitcoin dips, it could easily get a wick down. It can go up and down. You never know exactly how it's going to play. But if an entry here with a stop below this POC and the destination there looks like it's a very doable trade, in my humble opinion. I build the trade right every time with the long position. Place the target, place the stop, and make sure that risk reward ratio hits a 3 to 1. If it's 3 or 1 or better, I'm in there. It's worth looking at. It's definitely worth taking. It could even begin to pump a little more. We'll see. But so far, that's definitely something I would look at. And then I already have kind of the parameters set up for it. So when I give you guys a setup in the group too, it comes from years of data, or things that I've been looking at for a long time and finally have decided or have high probability, right? And again, you could say, oh, but it's just a flag with tight moving averages above the high volume node. I get it, but like, you know, and then this can be a shoulder, that can be a head. You can even have that as a right shoulder. I've seen that as well. So this is mint layer. It was super hot when it pumped. Definitely something you may want to keep on the radar. The fact that it's holding its own right now with those higher lows looks interesting to me. Someone said I 3x mint layer with you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah. Why? When my memes were holding better than mint layer, I dumped it into my top memes. No regrets. Hey, that ain't bad, man. I stuck in mint layer at 71. Stuck at work. No worries, man. No worries, Rudy. Wasn't random from Revenge of the Nerds. I think you're right. You have Codex? You mean Zodex with the C with the X? I didn't buy Zodex. Honestly, I have enough Caspa. I'm very, very exposed to the Caspa. It's over like 100,000. You know what I mean? I guess I could throw 5 to 600, maybe $1,000 on Zodex. I got to go over to CoinX, and I just get lazy about doing that. I have to remind myself to do it, and I don't always do it. So, and we got some. I think we got a little cool down period here. Oh, it's on XC now though. My bad. I think I scooped up. I think I scooped up $500. But did I? Let's double check. I believe I did, just in case it did something. Let me make sure. I go to spot and just sell and go XODX. Zodex. I got no Zodex. I would have sworn I bought a little bit. All right, for the Casper ecosystem, I'll throw that 776 there. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in it for whatever reason. I can't explain why. Like it doesn't. I don't know if it has that je ne sais quoi. All right, so I got a 3.8 million Zodex. We'll see where it goes. You never know. I do believe in the Casper ecosystem. That is a cup and handle. That looks like a head and shoulder or a double bottom too. We'll see where that can go. I mean, that's just nice, quick 70. And then if it breaks the 200 MA, right? It's likely your bottom there. That's likely your bottom. Adam and Eve double bottom. Clear as day, right? Boom. So I do now. I didn't have any Zodex, but I do now. If Bitcoin drops into the Gaussian on the weekly, does that mark an early end to the bull run? I mean, I don't know. I would say let's take a look at that. I mean, we'd have to look at previous cycles and say yes, right? I mean, it depends. Let's take a look. I mean, it was already that close there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, technically, it's never done it. It's never broken into the weekly. It's gotten at one time there, it dipped in. So it could dip in. See, anything could happen. But you're right. It wouldn't be a great sign. I would not want to see it. Would not want to see it. But so far, we're not in there on the weekly. You know what I mean? So far, things could change. But so far, we're not in there. DIA, remember that thing was a monster move that we had here on the channel. Came back down a bit too. Look at that. Unsustainable move. It's another thing that will likely eventually happen to SEI over time. Like I'm looking for SEI to do this, come back to its roots, have that daily come back to the 21 or even the 3 day come back. I still can't believe DI hit the target like that and came back down. I found that very strange. This I would start to, play some type of fib on. See where that can go, something like that. But I don't see, I wouldn't attack that right now. And with Bitcoin so much sideways, it is good for the altcoins, but they're still pretty weird right now. And if we take a dump, the altcoins are going to dump. So I wouldn't like, aside of DCAing yet again, just in the projects that I believe in, I wouldn't be like aping into swings, you know. Popcat's there, but it's still somewhat higher risk, you know what I mean? So it's just so tight. And look at that 12 hour with the double. Like it just looks like, man, if anything's gonna break out, it looks like Popcat can. Look how the 4 hour is just ready to go after just, you know. So I'm looking for this thing to deliver, but you never know. Maybe it does not. So this is my trade of the night. This is what I'm into. We'll see what happens. And that concludes the weekly screen share, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful night. Justin, man, how you been? God bless you. I hope you're feeling okay. Um, call me. I'm pretty tired tonight, but let's talk tomorrow, man. Shoot me a text and let's see if we can get on the phone. Are you back home yet? You're still out of the country? Okay, no worries. All right. All right, I understand. God's putting you where you need to be. That's all that matters. All right. I love you, everyone. Thank you for being here with me. I do feel little tired. I'm sorry if that's the case. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning and we'll rip it up. But thank you, you know, and I appreciate you all through all these transitions that we're going through and always kicking it with me no matter what. And, you know, we might kick butt tomorrow. We never know what happens tomorrow. So one step at a time, you got to keep a positive mindset and believe that, you know, your next big trade is coming. I truly believe that even for myself. So